Disney over the last several years has done everything in their power to not cater to their audience, to not cater to families, instead push families away, whether it's at the theme parks, whether it's at the box office, whether it's on streaming, because so many of their decisions have been centered around identity politics and virtue signaling instead of actually entertaining those fans, giving them something family friendly, giving something that resonates with their core values. Instead, Disney's been fighting the state of Florida to give teachers the right to sexualize 5-year-olds. That's what Disney decided their priorities were going to be. And as a result, we saw a lot of things. We saw their box office flop. We saw disappointments. We saw Disney Plus streaming losing billions of dollars. And even we've seen Universal gain a big market share when it comes to those theme parks. And as a result, Disney's sitting here having to slash thousands of jobs. Woke Disney begins layoffs of 4,000 employees as part of $5.5 billion spending cuts. And what that means is firing 4,000 people and also cutting 3,000 jobs that they were expected to fill. So you got 7,000 total jobs that are being cut by Disney right now. And it looks like that could be happening within the next week or so before their next big shareholder meeting. And it's across everywhere. It's going to be across their entertainment division, ESPN division, which I talked about over on Sports Wars, and parks experiences and products. These were planned for Bob Chapek to do. Bob Iger came in and said, well, it looks like we still have to cut these things. They're trying to cut $5.5 billion in costs because of the way that they've been struggling. It's a bloodbath. That's how it's described by these Disney insiders. According to sources, there would be a big wave in late April, described as the big one or a bloodbath, where a large portion of the cuts are expected to come.
It's not any surprise. The question is do you feel bad for the people that this most affected directly? And obviously, I think you do. But at the end of the day, you get what you deserve. And when you continue to pander to a weird group of freaks on Twitter that don't have any money, don't support anything you're doing, you kind of deserve it. And maybe the individuals don't. Again, I'm a guy who came from retail. I understand how bad decisions at the top of the corporate chain can have a profound impact at the lower levels. And of course, the people at the lower levels are the ones that are most affected by those bad decisions made by the people up at the top. And so it does suck because so many people, they have this kind of nostalgia for Disney. They have this idea of what they think Disney should be and what it once was. It's no longer that, though. And it's probably never coming back. Bob Iger, no matter what Bob Iger does, you're only one quick decision away from the wokeness being interjected back into it. And as soon as something becomes successful, that wokeness will come right back because that's just how these freaks operate. Look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's no reason that wokeness should have been put into that other than the fact that it became so mega successful that they saw an opportunity to push that into something. And that's how almost everything in Hollywood works these days. If it becomes successful, then the wokeness will start creeping into it because you can't build something from the ground up with wokeness. You can't do it. You have to build it the right way because they know that these freaks won't actually try to pretend to care about something that doesn't have relevance. And so that's a bigger kind of way of looking at this whole thing because there are regular everyday people that are affected by this. But ultimately, I have no sympathy for Disney as the company. They deserve all of this, and it's not surprising at all.
Yeah, certainly some of those are probably going to come from people in Florida. You know what I mean? Here at Disney World, I'm sure that some of those cuts are going to happen. Most of them seem to be centered around domestic jobs that were Disney employees, people. When you look at Disney's stock, it's so interesting to look at because right now it's really not much different than it was when it crashed during COVID. When you think about that, all the theme parks got shut down and all box offices closed. You look at what happened and where Disney's stock went, how people felt about the company. 3 years later, they're effectively at the same spot. That's really interesting to look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
And the fact that they got so many people to buy into this Disney Plus shit too, that it skyrocketed while theme parks were still like kind of closed. They had everybody like, hey guys, Disney Plus is going to be great. Oh, by the way, here we are. In the last 6 months of 2022, we actually lost $2.5 billion on Disney Plus. It's crazy. I don't think it's the last round of layoffs for Disney. I don't think it's going to turn around for them like this. At the same time, the theme parks still are king for Disney. They are still making money hand over fist at these theme parks, regardless of how much Ant-Man flops, regardless of how much Strange World or Lightyear flops. For now, these theme parks are still making a shit ton of money.